Do you bite your tongue to keep the peace, and then your heart sprints like you just ran a 5K in flip-flops? Yeah, I know the feeling. That's because our brain treats every swallowed opinion like a physical threat. Staying silent doesn't dodge drama, it quietly shreds our mental health. Today, we're unpacking the science of that damage, and more importantly, how to stop it. But first, let me get personal for a second. Let me show you how this damage actually looks in your day to day life. Life is always moving, like waves on the ocean. Some rise gentle, some crash hard, but every wave carries the chance to begin again. I'm Vanessa, and welcome to Waves of Change, a space for mindset, mindfulness, and the things that truly matter. Together, we'll pause, breathe, and remember you're never too late, and your peace is never too far. A few weeks ago, I was in a big project meeting. I had a solution to a problem we were stuck on, but my solution was shot down with no discussion. Then, a junior colleague mentioned a similar, almost identical suggestion, and it was met with enthusiasm. Guess what I did? I shut down. I nodded along while my idea drifted into the ether. I chose to become invisible, but it cost me. What I felt was not just in my head, it was also in my body. The second our values clashed with our behavior, our bodies spiked cortisol and adrenaline. Research on trauma-exposed veterans have shown that emotional suppression is linked to higher levels of inflammatory markers in the body. Silence literally inflames you. Stack those moments for years and you've got burnout, insomnia, even autoimmune flares. The price of keeping the peace is paid in our own bodies. That physical inflammation is just only one part of the story. The mental gymnastics your brain performs to justify your silence is just as damaging. Psychologists call the static in your head cognitive dissonance. Two beliefs, what you think and what you do, crashing into each other. Think about the aftermath of a tragic event, a public tragic event. You feel heartbroken, but scroll past people online, posting vacation photos as if the world isn't grieving with you. The gap between your inner state and their outward normality is jarring. Your brain, seeking comfort over truth, might convince you to stay quiet, rewriting the story. Well, maybe I am overreacting. Each rewrite shaves off a slice of self-trust. When you can't trust yourself, you hand the steering wheel to whoever shouts the loudest. That's how silence turns into self-loss. That internal conflict doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's amplified by one of the most powerful forces in human psychology, the pressure to conform. In the 1950s, Solomon Asch showed people 3 lines on a card and asked which was the longest. He had actors in the room deliberately picking the wrong line. A staggering 75% of real participants conformed to the incorrect answer at least once. Modern brain scans show that dissenting from a group lights up the amygdala, your brain's alarm bell, while conformity provides a sense of relief. Translation, the group doesn't have to threaten you. Your own body bribes you with the relief if you just agree. Pair that ancient wiring with radical Facebook posts, family group chats, and TikTok mobs, and staying silent feels like survival. Short-term calm, long-term erosion. So your biology is bribing you to stay quiet, but giving into that bribe comes at a steep price, creating an invisible debt that compounds over time. Silence is a high-interest credit card, y'all. You buy momentary safety, but the emotional bill keeps compounding. Resentment towards others, shame towards yourself, and the creeping belief that your ideas are worthless. While specific statistics on promotion and contribution can vary, research from Columbia University has already shown that perceptions of unfairness in the workplace, such as favoritism and promotions, can negatively affect employees' output and increase the likelihood of high-performing employees quitting. Silence doesn't just hurt feelings, it shrinks careers. This cycle of silence, debt, and regret is powered by a few persistent myths we tell ourselves to make it feel okay. Here's myth number 1. If I stay neutral, people will like me more. The truth is, humans respect congruence. Quiet compliance earns polite tolerance, not genuine connection. Myth number 2. My opinion won't change anything, while in reality, one single dissenting voice can cut group conformity by as much as 80%. Myth number 3. I'll speak when it really matters. The problem with that is the longer you rehearse silence, the scarier honesty feels. Waiting for the perfect moment is like waiting to lift weights until you're already strong. It doesn't work. So we've busted the myths. How do we actually start breaking the silence? It begins not with speaking, but with knowing what you stand for. Before you speak, know what you're standing on. This is a principle that's also in the Bible, Ephesians 4:15, which advises speaking the truth in love so that we may grow in every respect. Think of your values as a compass in a storm. Without them, you're just tossed around by everyone else's winds. They are the anchor that keep your ship from drifting into harbors you never intended to visit. To identify your values, let's take a moment to reflect. Think of the specific times you felt either deeply proud or intensely angry. Write them down. Those powerful emotions are signposts pointing you to your core principles, what you stand for. Look through your list for recurring themes or ideas. The top 3 that emerge are your non-negotiables. When you know them, decisions get binary. Does this align or not? Clarity kills anxiety because you're no longer juggling 50 variables. You're matching a behavior to a short, visible list. Once you have that anchor, you don't have to start battling hurricanes. You could start with small, manageable acts of authenticity. Now, when you go to work, don't kick out the staff meeting with a manifesto. Start micro. Correct the colleague who's constantly mispronouncing your name. Suggest a different playlist on the next road trip. Wear that loud jacket, even if your friends prefer black. Each tiny declaration trains your nervous system to handle disapproval without a catastrophic fallout. Think of it like progressive overload at the gym. 5 authentic reps today prepares you for the heavy conversational squats tomorrow. Ooh! As you get comfortable with those small acts, you'll need the right words in your pocket, but when the stakes get a little higher, having a few simple scripts can make all the difference. Let's talk about some. When you need to disagree without sounding like a jerk, you want to swap "you're wrong" for "my view is a little different." How about replacing "I don't care what you think"? For me, that doesn't feel right. These lines keep the spotlight on your perspective, not the other person's point of view. Another power phrase: can we test X to see how it lands? The word test signals flexibility, which lowers defensiveness and keeps the dialogue alive. But even with the perfect words, not everyone will agree with you. So that's when you agree to disagree. So what do you do when they push back? You expect some resistance. It's data, not defeat. If someone steamrolls, calmly repeat your boundary. As I said, that doesn't work for me. Repetition signals stability and often ends that ping pong faster than the fresh argument. If the room gangs up, ask curious questions. What makes you see it that way? Which forces critics to elaborate and sometimes exposes weak logic. This is what I wished I would have done a couple of weeks ago. Now, if any of this is landing, hit the like button and drop a simple "I get it" in the comments. It tells the algorithm that courage content like this matters and reminds you that you're not alone. And if you want to keep learning how to reclaim your voice, make sure you subscribe and share this with someone who needs it. Now that you've committed, let's talk about the incredible rewards that come from speaking your truth. Standing up for your values correlates with higher self-esteem, lower depression scores, and stronger leadership ratings. A 2023 American Psychological Association, the APA, survey highlighted that employees who feel respected at work report higher job satisfaction and well-being. Other studies have shown a strong negative correlation between burnout and job satisfaction, suggesting that authentic expression could be a key factor in mitigating burnout. Honesty isn't just moral, it's medicinal. Every time your words match your beliefs, you deposit self-respect, and that account compounds fast. The best part is, this journey doesn't have to be a solo mission. In fact, it's more powerful when it's not. Courage is contagious, but only if it's visible. Courage is contagious, but only if it's visible. Share your values out loud with one trusted colleague or friend. Ask them to flag you when you drift off course. Online, follow people who model respectful disagreement. Mirror their tone until you find your own. Over time, you'll start attracting people who already like the real, authentic version of you. But building this new habit of speaking up can be exhausting, which is why the final piece of the puzzle is learning to balance courage with self-care. Balance matters, y'all. After a hard conversation, it's time to decompress. Go for a walk, play a video game, meditate, or pet a dog. Cortisol needs an exit ramp, so let's give it one. Some people find this hard to do, but scheduling intentional quiet when you literally say nothing is also good for you. Chosen silence can restore you and stimulate brain growth, while forced silence drains you. Know the difference and protect the former. Knowing when to be quiet and when to speak is the ultimate goal. So let's bring this all together. Every time you swallow your real opinion, to keep things nice, to keep the peace, you don't avoid conflict. You relocate it into your own body, where it quietly attacks your mind, mood, and immune system. The science is blunt. Chronic suppression equals stress, disease, and lost opportunity. But the cure is simpler than you think. Clarify your values. Practice tiny acts of authenticity and use respectful language that keeps doors open. Start today. Pick one moment, one sentence, one micro rebellion, and speak it out loud. Your nervous system is going to protest at first, but then thank you later on. And the version of you who's been waiting in the wings can finally step into the light. Your voice matters, and the world needs what you actually think and not another echo. Hey y'all, I'm Vanessa, and this is Waves of Change. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, you're never too late, and your peace is never too far. Bye.